Today I put a new set of steps in and a new sidewalk, but we're going to mostly concentrate on the steps. I'm going to show you how I did it. Well, today we're going to put new steps in and new sidewalks. Now, these are my step patterns from other jobs. I always saved them because I'm going to rip these out of here. There's 4 steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, but we're going to bring the sidewalk up and eliminate 1 step. These are the stones that are going on. Got 14 inches by 6 feet. The whole thing, solid concrete. Now here's what they did. They came up with brick, and then they poured this whole piece solid. They formed it. Now he's just hammering these, waiting for the guy to come with the jackhammer. And when they discovered there was brick under here, if you look under here, they filled it with gravel. The old timers have filled everything with gravel or anything they can get. These steps have been here for about 60 years, so those guys actually knew what they were doing, but it was the old way of doing things. So we're going to try to get a jack under here, maybe jack them up, because we couldn't get a jackhammer today, and he might just rip them out with the backhoe. Now I dug under their steps, and look, I got the whole steps moving here, and you can pull them right out of there. That's what the old timers did. There was no jackhammers back in those days. See? Now he's just jacking it up to loosen it up before he rips it out.
Push it out, Bob? Not yet.
So all that in there is nothing but gravel and stone. That's all they did. See how they did it? So this is a solid footer right here, but because they have a little, they had separated here, I'm going to put a couple of rebar right across to make sure that that stays pinned together. Little trees right across the bottom, so that everything's going to work. Alright, I got my bottom in, but because I'm a little uncertain of the footer, I put a steel rod in there. Let's cover it up. Now I'm putting my second row of caps on here, right through. Now I'm putting the tubes in. Row of tubes. Keep checking my pattern. Make sure I'm right on. See that? Now my next, start here. Putting my 8-inch block in. They start right here. Get my pattern. That's how I know I'm right. Following the pattern. Put my pins in here. Oh, I can't pick these up no more. I'm putting a row of 4s over here. Put my 3s, my 4s on. I went exactly to my pattern. So now I'm going to put my threads on. Getting it ready, we're going to put the thread on. Sight. Perfect. Come on, an inch. Okay. Plastering my sides up. And then because it's my first coat, I just scratch it a little bit. top step using a concrete edger. Put an edge mark in here because I don't know if this foundation is on the same foundation as the porch, and it might crack. So I put a little mark in there. Make sure that's separated when I come back the next day or whatever to put my second coat on. If that ever cracks, it's going to crack on that mark and it'll look natural. That's why I'm doing that. I'm back like a week and a half later, and I'm going to finish a second coat of parging or plaster or whatever you want to call it. See the line I put there? If it cracks, it has to crack on that line. So I got my sprayer and I'm going to wet it first and put my second coat on. If you want anything to stick, you gotta wet it first. I'm getting my cement, put it right in there, like that. So I got myself a little sponge. Just go over it like that. There's no other way to get in there. I keep that line. See that line? I keep saying that. Why am I saying that? Because when you do a job like this, up against a footer against another footer, I always put a line on top, and then if it cracks, it's going to crack along the line and it's going to look natural. It's what I call hiding sins. Got to go over it with the hammer. Get all the burrs off it. All the stuff off of it, like that. Just sweep it all off so you don't get anything into the plaster. Then I just use regular water and I wet it. You gotta wet it. It ain't gonna stick unless you wet it. And then, I'm using a small trowel, but I want to get it in there, see? Get it in there. It's going to dry fast because it's been sitting here for a while. But that's okay with me. That's what I want. Make sure you get up in there. See these small trowels? It's like an affiliate site. Go buy a whole tool kit for like 30 bucks. I keep them in the back of my truck and they work dandy. And then, you know I never buy my sponges. Get them off the dump or someone throwing an old chair out. And like, just go over it like that and smooth it out. Sometimes you gotta wait a little bit. No matter. Look underneath the stone, make sure you got everything. So that's it, I'm pretty much done. I just want to emphasize that little cut mark goes around the back. If that ever separates from the porch, it's going to look natural. I'm going to talk about that job a little bit. Ripping the steps out, we were going to get a jackhammer because we didn't know how deep they went, but the excavator guy, he knew how to get them out. That footer's been there for 60 years, so I wasn't really worried about it. That might have been the second or third set of steps already. When you're doing steps, you always do your steps first and then you put your concrete up against them. And if you could, you leave a ledge so it'll hold that concrete so that bottom step or that concrete won't sink from the bottom step. I've showed you that before in other things. Traditional concrete shrinks. So when you first put the steps in, everything's real wet. You put your first coat of plaster on. Next day you look at it, you're going to see where all the old blocks were and everything, because some parts of the cement dry faster than the others. So when you come back, that's why I waited like 10 days, it shrinks. Put your second coat over it, it hides everything. Top step. I wanted to divide that step from the actual stoop, because if that footer ever did move, even though I think it's on the same footer as the porch, it's a little crack there. It's just like dividers in concrete. When you're dividing concrete sidewalks up, oh, there's a little divider. I've seen that problem before. You walk up the steps, you see a big crack there. Well, if you put that mark in there, you won't see the crack. It looks natural. They're going to paint the whole porch, and they're going to paint underneath the steps. So it really doesn't matter. all the tools I use or whatever I use, I have a, you look in the description, sometimes I'll have an affiliate site. So that's the end of that video. I hope you get something out of it. Thanks for watching. I'm Mike Haduck, and that's it.